Sorry guys, I can't accept new friends. My friends list is full. So for all of you sending me friend requests over the last couple of days, I can't accept them. My friend list is literally full. I think they capped out friends lists again in the last patch. But how about we talk about the season ticket? How about we talk about the season ticket, dude? How about we do our predictions for week 1, yeah? How about we do our predictions for week 1? You guys in for that? You guys down? Get some season ticket knowledge up in here, dude. Let's get some predictions going, don't you think? We'll do some predictions. Alright, let's do this, yo. So, of course, guys, we have here the season ticket. For those of you that haven't bought it yet, I don't know if you can see this if you haven't bought the season ticket yet, but this is the season ticket. So, this is what you're looking at. It's way more straightforward than it was last time. So, you can hide spoilers, which is super cool over here. If you don't want to know who won, if you watch them on your own. It's split up week 1, 2, 3, all the way down 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we got a 10-week split with a week off in the middle. So 11 weeks total with 10 weeks of play. We have a consistent amount of games every week. Let's see. This is 2, 4, 6. We have 8 games a week. And that is including what? NA and EU, right? So typically every team is playing once a week is what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. 8 games a week. And we have games on Thursday, Friday, and a game Saturday, Sunday. So the majority of games are played Thursday and Friday with 1 game each on Saturday and Sunday, which is interesting. Oh, there we go. There's 9 games. I lied. There's 9 games. There is 9 games. And it goes until Monday. So we got 9 games a week. 3 Thursday, 3 Friday, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday, 1 Monday. So the only days of the week that there's not going to be SPL being played is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So 4 out of 7 days you got SPL to look forward to during the spring split, which is awesome. So we can start off with our week 1. This is so cool. So this is the new platform. If you think one team's going to win, boom, you just click like that. Boom, boom. Oh, cool, shows up in both. So, first game of the week, we have Eager and Allegiance, thank you. We got Team Eager versus Team Allegiance. All these games this week, guys, are going to be interesting because it's going to be showing where teams are falling in this season. So it's definitely going to be, these first probably, week 1 and 2 games are going to be very, very important. Very, very important. Also, for the Horde. Yes. So, Eager and Allegiance. This is going to be what should be a close matchup. It could go either way. I'm going to put this one at split. I think that's going to be a good indicator of where either team is going to fall this season. I think if one team beats the other 2-0, it might put them in the top 4 and the other team in the bottom 4 going into the season. Or if they split it, it means they're both probably around that 4 region. With the ability, to get in that top 3, that 3rd spot, followed it below. So then we have Rando in Denial. I think this one is one of the it's probably it's so hard. I want to say this one's a little bit more, straightforward, but it's not that much, yo. So I'm gonna give this one to Denial. I think the Randozos are currently looking to be the bottom team in SPL, but they have so many good players on their team. It's just a matter of, because they're pretty fresh, can they get their players on synergy? But Denial also has a bunch of new players as well, picking up the majority of enemy esports that left enemy. The new Denial roster is basically the old enemy roster for the most part. So, Woony in enemy. I think Woony Tunes is going to be a top 3 team this year. I think enemy is a strong team, but I think Woony Tunes is going to be a very top 3 team. Now, I don't know if they've been scrimming. Some things happen, and so I don't know if they've been scrimming, and that could cause them to drop a game early, perhaps because of lack of practice, because I know enemy's been practicing really hard. So I'm actually going to give that split. I'm actually going to give that game split. Although I do think that Woony Tunes will be a top 3 team this year. But I think their first week is going to be their hardest week. I think their first week is going to be their hardest week. Just in terms of like getting their momentum rolling. Because of the other, the other stuff that happened. So, heading over to Europe, Panthera and Torpedo Gaming. Panthera is old Epsilon. Torpedo Gaming is one of the relegation teams that won. I believe Torpedo Gaming is the one that has Game Hunter on it. But you're against Epsilon. They're the world champions. You give it to the world champions, right? Hungry for more in leftovers. Neither of these teams, I don't think, are going to be particular top 3 teams that I see right now. I'm pretty sure that's going to be kind of static. You're looking at probably, your Epsilon, which is Panthera. You're looking at your Panthera, your Panthera, your Fnatic, and your Paradigms for your top 3. So, for this one, I'm looking at a split. Either of those teams can take games. Majority of the time, they're probably going to each take one from each other. Fnatic and Dig. Fnatic and Dig. This one, for me, is out of the games that we've talked about so far, the most straightforward, and that's 2-0 Fnatic. Don't want to spend too much time on that. Dig had a run last season where they should have beaten Paradigm. They should have beaten Paradigm. It was Paradigm, right? In the semis or the quarters going into the world, the pre-world tournament. And then they threw their brains out like a 14K lead. But they should have beaten them and like gone for it. And then Paradigm ended up winning, that whole tournament or whatever. So, not to underestimate Dig, but Fnatic also having a new roster. We haven't really seen them, So, that'll definitely be interesting to see how that goes as well. Panthera playing again. So we have Epsilon playing twice in the first week. Playing against the leftovers, like I said, I learned last season pretty straightforwardly to never underestimate Epsilon. At one point, I thought they might have a close game with somebody, and I remember putting it split, and they dominated them, and I said, these guys are going to win Worlds, and I'm never voting against them again. So I'm sticking with tradition. Until they prove me wrong that Season 3 is not their season, I'm not voting against the world champions. So, there you go. Envy and Eager. Envy, presumably going to be a top 3 team alongside Woony Tunes, leaving one spot open in the top 3. I imagine Envy and Woony Tunes are going to be duking out that top 3 spot for this split right now. Just looking at rosters and previous experience, and I'm giving this 2-0 to Envy. That I think in North America you're gonna see I think you're going to see the number 1 and 2 spots be pretty locked up between Looney Tunes and Envy. Most likely. Pretty early on. I think you're going to see the bottom 2 locked up pretty early on. I don't know what teams it's going to be yet. But I think you're going to see these top 2 teams and the bottom 2 teams kind of just poof, lock in place. And then those middle 4 are going to be the ones that are interchangeable. And that 3rd place slot, that one that, that last slot that's going to go to the land in Europe is going to be up for grabs. So that'll be interesting. And then Monday we finish up with another European game. Wait, where's Problem Solve? Problem Solve does not play week 1. Does Problem Solve not play week 1? Are they down here? Yeah, so Problem Solve does not play week 1. They do not play week 1. Okay, so we have Paradigm and Fnatic finishing up the week, or I guess starting the next week, whatever way you want to look at it. Paradigm super strong, Fnatic super strong. Historically, kind of even. Not like completely even, but like kind of even though. But I'm going to give this Paradigm keeping their roster, keeping it solid. Fnatic, mixing a lot of things up. They've got Tully as a coach now. Maybe it helps them. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. But I'm giving that 2-0 the way of Paradigm. Which wraps up, guys, our picks here for week 1. Going over again real quick. Split, Eager, Allegiance. Denial over Randozo. Split, Wooney, Enemy. Panthera. Split, Hungry for More and the Leftovers. Fnatic 2-0 over Dig. Panthera 2-0 over the Leftovers. Envy 2-0 over Eager. And Paradigm 2-0 over Fnatic to round out your SPL week 1. Let me know if you agree with my picks in the comments or if you don't and why you don't. And of course, guys, thank you to all of you that subscribe.